I guess while I'm on the topic of games, we can talk about my experience gaming on a Tyler and also gaming under Wayland. So, okay, gaming on a Tyler by itself is already weird. So, on Windows, games expect to be in either floating or full screen. Those are the two states. Floating, where they can set their width and their height to whatever they need it to be, and then full screen, where it's full screen. It's the entire screen. Now, the problem is when you have a game that's tiled, because a lot of games don't know what that means. A lot of games assume if it's tiled, that's the size of the entire monitor. I've had a lot of games that just make up new resolutions because you have a window that's like not exactly half the size of your screen. It's like a little bit because you also have gaps. Yeah, it can get funky. But that's just general tile stuff you see on Xorg as well. Usually, if you full screen a game, it's fine. Usually, there are some games that are a little bit crashy under Proton, and those games will crash if you change their resolution in any way besides changing a setting. So you can usually get around it by forcing full screen and things like that, but for the most part, it's not a problem. You add X Wayland on top of that, then you get some really wonky stuff. Wait, I think if I go to my latest... If I go to my latest Yakuza stream, actually, I should be able to find it. Let me see. So... Brody... no, what is it? Brody on Games, that's the channel. Brody on Games, here we go. Is this it? Yes. Yes. Was it actually... It may not have been the latest. It might have been the one before that. No, shit, it wasn't the latest. It definitely was the one before that. Okay. Shut up. Live. Here we go. And there it is. Right at the start. Here it is. So this is a fairly common occurrence where the game will just think it's in a made-up resolution. I think right now it assumes it's not even trying to run like an ultra-wide. It's trying to run ultra-wide as if ultra-wides were a thing back when like 480p displays were normal. So it's like super low res, but also super stretched. Yakuza does weird things where it adds borders around the game. I don't know why it does that. Weird game. But that's a whole separate Yakuza thing. Same with Hogwarts also has problems. I'll see if I can find one where actually... Did I show it in this one? Sometimes at the start of my Hogwarts streams, I have to like start up the game. This one? I don't think I'm gonna find one that has it. Go ahead. Where is it? Where's the game? No. Okay, I full screened it there. So this has the same problem, but not wide. It kind of like squishes it. So I don't know entirely like why that happens. Like I get it being weird with tilers, but I don't know why X Wayland makes things extra weird. I'm sure there is some explanation for it. I'm sure... Almost spilled my tea. I'm sure there's like some way I could make it consistently not happen, but I've not really come up with anything good to deal with it. Some games play nicely if I like force them into floating by default. Some don't. So there's not really anything consistent. The problem is Windows games are fucking terribly designed, and they're all designed in a different way. So if I find a solution that works in one game, it might not work in another game. Like, if I go back and play Need for Speed Most Wanted, the original one, if I like move my cursor off the game and I don't have the game set to auto tile. I think I have to set that one to auto tiling, actually. Yeah, I set it to auto tiling. The keyboard just stops working. There's just like weird Windows games do stupid things. Once again, that's not an issue with Hyperland. That's not even an issue with Wayland, like specifically. That's just playing Windows games on Linux. While it's great that we can do it, it does cause quite a few headaches here and there. As yeah. I would like it to be better, and it's certainly getting better. Just game support is just generally getting better. But even so, there are going to be cases where, yeah, there's just nothing that can really be properly done about it. But like as a general gaming experience, like when a game works properly, like I play Have a Nice Death, or I have Yakuza actually working, or I get Hogwarts actually working, or I go play FF14 in GameScope, or DMC3 like I'm playing through now on stream as well. All of these games, when I get them working, are working fine. There is obviously a little bit of extra input lag because of GameScope and all that stuff. From my experience, it's not that bad. Now, I do play on a 165Hz monitor, so that helps. That definitely helps. Unless I'm in FF14 and in Limsa Lominsa, and the game's running at 30 FPS because it's fucking Limsa Lominsa, and everybody is there, so the game lags to hell. But that's an FF14 problem. When I'm playing Have a Nice Death, it's running at a solid 165, or, you know, if I hopped onto Hades, or I hopped onto Dead Cells, or anything else I might want to play, it's fine. Like, I don't have any complaints about it. I don't really have anything to write home about. It's more like, it's mostly as good as it is on Xorg, which is fine. Pretty much. I think when I was like actively using Sway, back then Proton was a little bit flakier, and I did have some games like Is 8, Lacrimosa of Dana was like funkier on Wayland than it was on X11. But I think that was just more of a Proton problem at the time. Now in the days of Proton 8, most games are just... I haven't personally found any extra issues. I do know that the extra input lag could be an issue if you're like you're a Counter-Strike player that likes to have the absolute minimal input lag whatsoever. I play on a shitty Red Dragon keyboard. Half the time I'm playing with a Logitech G600. The other half the time I play with a Bluetooth mouse. Maybe when I was like 16, I would have noticed a difference, but like, what am I, fucking 25 now? I'm an old man. I don't have any, like, my input reaction time, whatever you want to call it. My reaction time is fucking horrible. It makes no difference to me. Plus, I was never really that good at games anyway, so having the extra input lag isn't that bad. It's not bad it's not like playing, an old console through a HDMI converter on a modern TV where you have like 100 milliseconds lag, and you can literally see the difference between pressing a button and the action happening. When I do things, they happen when I expect them to. There's probably a delay, but I'm not personally perceiving it. I would recommend trying out gaming on Wayland before you actually like come to a conclusion. You could probably hear the numbers, but like actually trying it for yourself on your hardware is going to tell you what it's actually like in your case. I would like someone to actually do those numbers. I just don't have the hardware to properly test it. Like a mouse clicker thing, and then like a millisecond timer, like what LGT does when they're doing their like testing with monitors, things like that. I'm sure you could do the same thing on Wayland as well and just see what the numbers actually are.